Yellowstone supervolcano may rumble to life faster than thought. 2017 latest update. A new study of ancient ash suggests that the dormant giant could develop the conditions needed to blow in a span of mere decades. If the supervolcano underneath Yellowstone erupts again, we may have far less advance warning time than we thought. After analyzing minerals in fossilized ash from the most recent mega eruption, researchers at Arizona State University think the supervolcano last woke up after 2 influxes of fresh magma flowed into the reservoir below the caldera. And in an unsettling twist, the minerals revealed that the critical changes in temperature and composition built up in a matter of decades. Until now, geologists had thought it would take centuries for the supervolcano to make that transition. Volcanoes 101 are as dangerous as they are majestic. Over 50 eruptions rock our planet every year. This video helps you understand what causes volcanoes to form and erupt and shows where they are most likely to be found. A 2013 study, for instance, showed that the magma reservoir that feeds the supervolcano is about 2.5 times larger than previous estimates. Scientists also think the reservoir is drained after every monster blast, so they thought it should take a long time to refill. Based on the new study, it seems the magma can rapidly refresh, making the volcano potentially explosive in the geologic blink of an eye. It's shocking how little time is required to take a volcanic system from being quiet and sitting there to the edge of an eruption, study co-author Hannah Shamloo told the New York Times. Still, Yellowstone is one of the best monitored volcanoes in the world, notes Michael Poland, the current scientist in charge of the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory for the U.S. Geological Survey. A variety of sensors and satellites are always looking for changes, and right now, the supervolcano does not seem to pose a threat. Today, Yellowstone National Park owes much of its rich geologic beauty to its violent past. Wonders like the Old Faithful geyser and the Grand Prismatic Spring are products of the geothermal activity still seething below the park, which is driven in turn by the vast magma plume that feeds the supervolcano. About 630,000 years ago, a powerful eruption shook the region, spewing forth 240 cubic miles worth of rock and ash, and creating the Yellowstone caldera, a volcanic depression 40 miles wide, that now cradles most of the national park. That eruption left behind the lava creek tuff, the ash deposit that Shamloo and her ASU colleague Christy Till used for their work, which they presented in August at a volcanology meeting in Oregon. The pair also presented an earlier version of their study at a 2016 meeting of the American Geophysical Union. Based on fossil deposits like this one, scientists think the supervolcano has seen at least 2 other eruptions on this scale in the past 2 million years or so. Lucky for us, the supervolcano has been largely dormant since before the first people arrived in the Americas. While a handful of smaller belches and quakes have periodically filled the caldera with lava and ash, the last one happened about 70,000 years ago. In 2011, scientists revealed that the ground above the magma chamber bulged by up to 10 inches in a span of about 7 years. It's an extraordinary uplift because it covers such a large area and the rates are so high. The University of Utah's Bob Smith, an expert in Yellowstone volcanism, told National Geographic at the time. The swelling magma reservoir responsible for the uplift was too deep to create fears of imminent doom, Smith said, and instead the caldera's gentle breathing offered valuable insights into the supervolcano's behavior. In 2012, another team reported that at least one of the past super eruptions may have really been 2 events, hinting that such large-scale events may be more common than thought. But almost everyone who studies Yellowstone's slumbering supervolcano says that right now, we have no way of knowing when the next big blast will happen. For its part, the US Geological Survey puts the rough yearly odds of another massive Yellowstone blast at 1 in 730,000, about the same chance as a catastrophic asteroid collision. Mount Semeru, seen with an ash plume, is the highest volcano on the Indonesian island of Java, and has been in a constant eruption since 1967. It lies at the southern end of the Tengger caldera, which contains smaller volcanoes Mount Bromo and Mount Batok, both seen in the foreground, and several others. With a hiss of steam, lava flows into the Pacific Ocean in Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, Hawaii. Similar flows of molten rock have built up the Hawaiian Islands over the course of more than 70 million years. Academics found evidence suggesting two eruptions took place in relatively quickly succession, causing a total global temperature drop of about 6°C. If the same happened today, it could cause crops to fail around the world and cause mass starvation on a truly apocalyptic scale. We discovered here that there are two ash-forming super eruptions 170 years apart, and each cooled the ocean by about 3°C, said geologist John Kennett. The explosions happened just as the world was coming out of major ice age and interrupted a natural process of global warming. It caused dust clouds which would have caused plants to die across the world, starving animals and potentially humanity's early ancestors. Earthquake swarms are fairly common in Yellowstone. After the swarm was detected, Jake Lowenstern, the US scientist in charge of observing the huge volcano, told The Sun that the Yellowstone supervolcano is capable of continental-scale damage. According to his own research, a massive eruption could last for a month and blanket the whole of America in ash, with dust falling over 1 meter thick at the center of the blast. The hot dust from a super eruption would reach as far as the east coast of America, with thousands suffocating. If the explosion was large enough, it could throw so much debris into the air that farmers around the world would be unable to produce enough food to feed populations. However, he reassured humanity that there's no indication that a super eruption will take place anytime soon.
Thanks for watching. Hope you learned a new thing. Please like the page and drop your comment below.